What's up everyone, it's Brett Kingster here again. So, just got finished watching this special on Discovery Channel, and it had a title. It was something like America's Worst Prison or America's Toughest Prison. It was the silliest thing I'd seen in quite some time. It was a prison run in the state of Arizona by some fat guy who, tries to act like real tough, thinks he's like a Westerner type guy from the 1800s or something, And his whole shtick is, my jail will always have room. Because in the state of California, what's happening is non-violent offenders are getting to go home early because they're running out of jail space. Well, this tough guy, Joe Arpaio, or however you say his name, he made tents so that there would be room for more and more criminals to be put away in. And his whole thing is like, he tries to embarrass people. Like, he makes the inmates wear pink underwear, and they have to dress in pink, And that's basically it. Like, he thinks he's, a real tough guy running a hardened prison because he makes the inmates wear pink and work on a chain gang and stay in tents. He thinks this is hardcore punishment. As I was watching that, had some flashbacks and figured it'd be mildly amusing if I told you the tales of my imprisonment in third world countries. American jails aren't the easiest. That honor would go to Norway. But they're pretty up there. I've done time in Russia, and I've been arrested in Egypt. And I did about 10 hours in an Egyptian jail. Egypt was a straight up arrest. I killed the crossing guard, or one of those light guards, or whatever. But dude had a machine gun, and he made a movement towards me that I found threatening at the time. Mind you, this is like almost 20 years ago. So I killed him, and I turned myself in. Said the gun discharged accidentally. Next thing I remember, I'm being beaten and thrown into a communal cell. This cell was the most forsaken structure I had ever been in. I mean, it was totally unkept. There weren't even toilets. You had to crap in a hole in the ground. And not to say anything that would make this video no longer qualified for a G rating, but there were adult magazines, well, pictures from adult magazines, not actually intact magazines, and they were being passed around from person to person. And each person would amuse himself visibly. And that was how they expressed that they liked you. Like you were a cool prisoner if they passed the picture to you so you could do your thing with it. Luckily, Smitty got me out after 10 hours. And that was all the exposure I had to the place. But yeah, bar none, the Egyptian jail was the worst that I'd ever seen, as far as not even being able to envision how it keeps itself operational. Now the Russians, they were special. They found a way to be dehumanizing, grueling, and scary as all goddamn hell at the exact same time. Their jail wasn't just a jail. It was a jail inside of a jail. No, bullshit. There was a prison door that led you to a jail where you opened that door up and then you went into another jail and that was your cell. And you'd wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and for 16 hours you couldn't touch the bed. So it's you and another inmate. You have a desk and you two are basically pretty much sharing the floor and the desk. The food that they gave you in the Russian jail was like a barley soup, and your only option was, do you want the broth from the soup or do you want a portion that's more barley heavy? It tasted horrible. So that was your only option every day, was that stupid soup and bread, this hard, nasty bread. Every 15 minutes, a guard would check in on you. And he'd always ask you the same stupid question in Russian. Do you have anything illegal? They're watching you on a live video feed They're monitoring you every 15 minutes. You're in a jail inside of a jail. Not to mention the guard dogs that I'll get into in a minute. And they got the nerve to constantly keep asking you if you have some contraband. I remember sitting there thinking to myself, how the hell do I say the phrase, do I look like a freaking magician in Russian? I remember thinking to myself, has anyone ever had any contraband in here? How the hell do you do anything? That was the worst, man. 30 days of pure hell. Pure freaking hell. When they would move you, they would blindfold you, and they would handcuff you, and they would maneuver you in a stress position. Like, there would be two guards, and both of them would have like an arm bar on you. And there were vicious dogs. So even if you could fight against the guards when you were being moved from one cell to another somehow, you'd still have to contend with this forsaken dog. And the thing is, the dog was trained to attack anything wearing the prison uniform, the pattern of the prison uniform. So the minute the dog even saw you, it instantly hated you. And it was constantly like making motions that say, I want to kill you. So you're blindfolded, you're in a stress position, and all you hear is very aggressive barking. So, yeah, that's my take on the toughest prisons. Number one, I'd have to say Egypt. However, I don't know how anyone survives long-term in an Egyptian prison. I really don't. Number two, Russia. American jails are survivable by anyone. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this, please consider buying me a brewski by clicking on the PayPal link, either below or to the side or wherever, depending on your positioning. And I'll talk to you later.